Welcome back to Same But Different, the movie talk show that nobody asked for, but we're still doing. I'm here with my fantastic co-host and my brother, Brody, and we are here to review They Cloned Tyrone, because going forward, we're reviewing relatively newer movies, so enjoy that.
Hollow Man, motherfucker.
Let's dive right into the review, shall we?
Sorry, I was sipping a smoothie. I get those bones strong.
This movie is about a pimp, a prostitute, and a drug dealer. They all discover some secret government conspiracy where black people in a predominantly black neighborhood, they're being cloned. Among other things, like brainwashing's involved and things like that. So hijinks ensues, social commentary ensues, and we got ourselves a movie. Would you like to start off with your lovely review of this movie?
How do you know it's going to be lovely? This is one of those movies that just keeps on giving. It started as one thing that already kind of got you into it, more of like an everyday, almost like Do the Right Thing. We were just kind of in the world of these characters, and it was kind of just a little more serious. The comedy kind of definitely picked up as the plot got crazier. At the start of this movie, it didn't even feel much like a comedy, and I was still into it, but I was like, is this what I'm watching? And then it kept getting zanier and weirder as the layers of the onion peeled back. Like, I really liked the characters, and I really liked the comedy, but I just didn't know where it was going at the start. The trailer made it look a lot different than this, so where is it gonna? And then they found that elevator, and then everything just got crazy. When the three of them finally got together, from that point on, we had a movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was so much fun to watch, just as like an aesthetic thing, like the fun costumes and hairdos and even the music, which you couldn't watch, but you know what I'm saying. It's like this movie was a period piece, and it wasn't, but that was the point, and that's why it was really genius filmmaking in adding satire into the blaxploitation genre, which is crazy. Like, it was almost making fun of that blaxploitation genre while also honoring it as a really solid addition into that genre's catalog. Then a lot of the references, like they referenced Obama and SpongeBob and things like that like kept it modern. Like, maybe it was 10 years old, who knows, maybe it was more like a 2012 film, but it was modern in my mind. The plot keeps unfolding, deliciously giving you more nuggets of conspiracy and twists and fun, weird, what the hell is going on. But the main thing that made this movie amazing was the chemistry between the main three. They were just so much fun to watch, and whoever thought to cast John Boyega and Jamie Foxx together in these roles deserves a raise. But I think it was, and I don't know how to pronounce her name. I should have probably done research. Tayonah Parris?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who stole the show for me. She was amazing. She was so engaging and funny and great. Loved her.
I think she also was the one that had the most humanity to her as well.
Yeah. And it didn't start that way. All three of them had development, which is not something you need in a movie like this. At the start, Jamie Foxx was just a pimp. That was it. A pimp who was a little pathetic and funny. And she was just in the movie's words, not mine, just a worthless hoe. And she played that part really well. And then as they got to know each other and form this bond, it was really well done in that light. I did have some gripes, nothing too major. One being, I get why they did this, and I respect why they did this, but the film grain filter over the entire movie bothered me.
Do you think the costumes and the hair and the makeup and the locations would have been less effective, though, if they didn't have that?
I don't think less effective. I think maybe more jarring. The film grain was added there to make all that make sense, make it feel like we were watching an 80s blaxploitation movie. When it got lifted at the end for the final scene, it was just weird. Like, it's not like just because all the conspiracy died, the movie's tone shifted. They just took that film grain away, and I'm like, then why did you even have it on in the first place? But it was cool, like the little cigarette mark thing that they talk about in Fight Club popped up a lot. I just don't think the movie necessarily needed it. It's a modern day movie. Don't pretend you're not, except for the satirical points where you are. I don't know, because it worked and it didn't. I don't know. Now I'm all jumbled up. The biggest gripe I had is that the finale of the movie, and more so the reveal of the main antagonist, was a little lackluster compared to the insane journey we just went on. The fact that it was future Fontaine just felt a little, it just felt like an obvious letdown. Like, of course, everything we saw in this movie so far was so bizarre and wild and zany that I expected a little more.
Not only that, the reasoning behind future Fontaine's motivations as to why he's doing this was flimsy at best.
I feel like watching this movie back, there's probably a lot of plot holes. I'm happy to stay ignorant to. It is just a silly social commentary movie. That's the point. That's all I really have to say. I really enjoyed it. I had fun with it. Those two gripes, one being the film grain filter, hardly even brings it down. The other one definitely hurts it a little bit. I would have loved a stronger finale. Although the revelation of why the movie's called They Cloned Tyrone to happen in like a secret ending as the last line in the movie was I will definitely rewatch this movie. I will definitely recommend this movie to people.
Ooh.
I'm gonna give it 7.5 Tyrones.
7.5 Tyrones.
It is pretty good. It was better than all right. It wasn't quite great, but I really enjoyed it.
You liked it a little bit more than I did. I love the concept. I'm a sucker for sci-fi. You know this. Whether it be cloning, time travel, whatever. Sci-fi, I love sci-fi. It's a familiar concept. We've definitely seen this more or less in ways of Get Out, Sorry to Bother You, Cabin in the Woods. They executed this concept in their own way, and it felt fresh in that regard, which was nice. The cast was incredible. I agree. It was really awesome to see all of their chemistry together. Personally, the best was Tayonah Parris.
Nice.
Very close second was Jamie Foxx.
Yes.
And that's it.
Oh, you don't even think John Boyega did a good job?
I think he did a good job for the role he was given. I just don't think it was his role. I don't think he added to the chemistry. I think he really took away from it, in my opinion. Every time his character was on screen, I know this was kind of his character, but it just sucked the life out of the scene. Sometimes you have to have that character to amplify other things, but I don't know. There was something about him being on screen just felt like he was a drag, man, and it kind of just dragged it down for me. He played it well, like he's a good actor. I love John Boyega. I just don't think this was his role. The comedy was hilarious, dark at times, but also filled with incredible dialogue, fast, witty, social commentary, pop culture references. Like, it was incredible to watch them banter back and forth.
The Hollow Man shit was so funny. Hollow Man, motherfucker!
I enjoyed the pulpy film look, and it aided in the cinematography and the location. The location was a character in itself. What I didn't like about the movie, I already mentioned, John Boyega's character, just kind of a drab, soul-sucking character when he was on screen. He did have moments, don't get me wrong. It wasn't every time. There were definitely moments where I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. But most of the time, he just kind of like drained everything. There was one point where Kiefer Sutherland shows up and just vomits exposition everywhere. And I'm like, oh, what? Come on.
Yeah.
Kind of wish that happened more organically. That was kind of a dump, especially in a movie that was giving all those nuggets. And we could have put it together ourselves eventually, but then it's just like, nah, let's skip that. Let's give it to them. I think the story at a certain point becomes too convoluted for its own good. It's not only about cloning, but it's about government conspiracy and brainwashing and social experimenting. There's just a lot of elements thrown into the mix. It had trouble keeping up with itself, and it didn't feel like there was a nice payoff in the end. I think that's what you were talking about. And it didn't help that, yes, there were a couple of plot holes, and I'm not going to bring attention to all of them, but there was one, their plan about him getting shot in the shoulder just to like infiltrate. It was a cool thing, but you would think that they would at least check his pulse at some point.
Yeah, and we saw so many other times how much they would double tap, and that one time, just luckily they didn't.
That was kind of convenient.
I also thought, this is not even a plot hole, nor is it an issue, but it's just where I thought it was going to go, that little kid was implemented because that was going to be a driving point. He was going to see him in one of the test tubes, and that was going to be a big deal because he reminded him of his little brother. But instead, that kid was just there to say SpongeBob things and remind him of his little brother, but it could have been a lot more heavy-hitting.
That would have been incredible to see that little kid in the test tube.
I was more surprised that I didn't see it. I was almost certain that's what I was about to see.
Junebug.
That
would have been really awesome. You just wrote a better movie. Congratulations. Overall, it's a fun ride. I had a lot of fun with it. As social commentary was great. It was heavy hitting at times, but like that's the point. And if you didn't see that was the point, to be heavy hitting social commentary, to really shove this down your throat that shit's going down, then you're not smart enough for the message.
Yeah. Get wrecked.
I liked it 7 out of 10. So very close.
Yeah.
You liked it a little bit better, but I decided to give it a solid 7.
I think it was sitting around a 7, and then I'm like, I'm excited to rewatch that again with someone I recommend it to, so that made me bump it to a 7.5.
They Cloned Tyrone. Have you seen the movie? If you have, let us know what you thought in the comments section below. We'd love to hear your opinions and thoughts on it. I'm super excited to get to know what our next week's movie is going to be. We're doing new movies. We should bring out The Hat of Destiny. You probably already had it out waiting, right?
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
Let's go. That was the fastest I've ever done it. Okay. We are watching Joyride.
Not to be confused with the Paul Walker
Candy Cane. Oh yeah, you did it better. Mine was more like a screen, like a ghost face impression. Joyride follows 4 Asian American friends as they bond and discover the truth of what it means to know and love who you are while they travel through China in search of one of their birth mothers.
Love it. I've heard great things.
Well, it's a rated R comedy. I mean, it's just always so exciting.
Most of the time, there are some exceptions. Rated R comedies are fun. Even if they're like not great movies, you still have a fun time with them because of the raunchiness.
It's probably going to be silly and predictable, but you're going to laugh your way through it, so who cares, you know? Let's
watch Joyride for next week, but for now, we're going to say goodbye. Thank you all for watching and reviewing, or...
if you did...
If you liked our review of They Cloned Tyrone and you like movie content and reviews in general, please subscribe to the channel, like the video. We got lots more to give you. And that's all. And that's all, bro. What do you have anything to say?
No, I was just kind of letting you fumble that away.
You're letting me struggle and flounder. I hate this.
I don't just want to cut you off. You kept going.
Come on, cut me off right now.
I get those bones strong.